Okay, pick. Here we go.
Now, see, it's actually going on YouTube now, kind of. There it goes. Yeah. Is it getting the live chat now on here? Is the question. Live chat. Oh, this is I actually really like this program.
I'm glad.
Where's my spaceship? I'm my spaceship. Yeah. Live chat. Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
How you been, Adam? See, I told you, like, if we did this on here, people would show up, man.
Love it. Are they all?
I have this streaming on my YouTube channel and also on your.
Is the House of Dust happening too?
Yeah, I did all of them.
But is it streaming?
Yeah, it's all up.
Oh my God! Look at that.
Yeah, I told you, like, if I go live, I instantly usually have people that like just show up.
Okay, let me share it to my page. This is really good.
Yeah.
I'll share it to House of Dust. I got 1,200 there.
Adam, so the last session that I did with you, like I've kind of gone through some changes since the last time I talked to you, man. Yeah, no, I'm. Oh, how you doing, Mir? I have. So I wanted to introduce you guys to my friend Yosef here. Him and I have been doing actual. We've been doing more private sessions in the last few weeks. I have some videos I'm going to be uploading from the sessions I've been doing with him. But we're going to be doing these live streams together. So I actually have a moderator here so I can just be in the state and he can ask the questions for you guys and we can just kind of hang out, and it can be a little bit easier because for me, going back and forth was a little too hard to actually take care of. But I've been wanting to keep. Yeah, I would say we have a bromance going. We've become pretty good friends over the last couple months. But I'm just, for anyone that watches this in the future, this is I feel like this is going to be the format going forward, is having someone here to just kind of like take care of the business stuff and also the mechanical stuff, so I can just kind of be in the state and channel. And it's gotten much easier, I can tell you that much, from all the sessions we've been doing weekly.
It's meant to be.
Absolutely.
Moderate to Ethium channeling session. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's running on the House of Dust channel too.
Yeah,
wow.
No.
We run 5 or 6 channels right now.
And also for everyone watching this, that we're trying out something new today. So this is our first inaugural run of this. Like, everyone say hi to Yosef. Like, he's a good man. We've gotten to know each other pretty well. He's going to be helping me set up a few projects, and we're going to be just kind of throwing it out there. So if you guys have questions today, there's someone here to like just ask the questions for me, so I can just be in the state. So,
right. So I'm going to log into Ideas in the Flow on the other screen, so I can moderate the questions.
Well, if you click on live chat, just under the wave thing, it's under the live chat.
Okay, give me a second.
You don't have to do my YouTube channel. It's all like inside the program.
I need to go to your channel.
No. So
I'm going under ideas, but I gotta go to Ideas in the Flow, right? For the comments.
No. Just be in the wave program that we're doing right now.
Oh, in a wave?
Yeah, in wave. Mm-hmm. Go over to where it says live chat. On the side. Should be on your right side. We're getting some bugs worked out, guys. It's all good.
I see it. Okay, great. Yeah.
But we've been we've also, so this is exciting news. So because I've had him to do this with consistently, I've gotten faster and more. The communication with Ethan's gotten more clear, as well as we've been able to bring through a few other things like Melchizedek and Ra, like a couple weeks ago, and like a few other ones that have been pretty fun. So I'm going to I'm just going to drop in, and I'll let Ethan come through, and you guys can ask your questions to him, and we'll do all the fun stuff. So
thank you.
So feel free to actually add your whole, like, any question that you have. Give me like 2 seconds, guys. We're gonna we have some stuff kind of planned out, but if you guys have questions for a particular being or something you want me to shift into, because there's been some really cool. The other thing I want to say is there's been some really great developments over the last few months that have happened because we've been able to, me and him have been able to do these consistent sessions, and I'm really happy with the progress that's happened with the partnership that we've been having. So
me too.
So all right, I'm gonna let Yosef ask questions first, and then as you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. So give me like 2 seconds. How are you all doing today? We have come to you in a state where the channel himself has reached a point where we can come through more fluently, more easily, in a much more cohesive state because he has taken on the work to facilitate the connection in a more particular way that is much more easy to understand and for us to communicate with you the ideas we have to share. How are you all today?
Oh, Ethan, Joseph here. We're doing great. We have some friends live on Facebook and YouTube as well.
Perfect. How are you all today?
They seem to be pretty excited from the comment.
Perfect. Please feel free to ask your questions. If not, we can share with you information that we have come to share, and that might be repetitive in nature, but it is important to integrate and also to incorporate the ideas that we have been delivering to you and have been delivered through other channels at this time. So we would like to say to you that this year is the idea of integration, the idea that you must go through this year in a more neutral state and be willing to go through the steps and understand that this year is necessary, because on the other side of it, it is more of an acceleration that will happen because of going through this step and allowing yourself to be more present in your time and your space as you are as a person. This is necessary this year of your 2024. On my ship, in my people, we are moving forward. We are looking forward to having more interactions with you like this in the coming days ahead of us.
Thank you, Ethan. First, I'd like to know, how is the channel doing?
The channel is recovering quite well from his previous encounters. He has been actually eliminating toxins from his body that has made it easier to facilitate the connection and facilitate the ability for him to actually communicate to you. He has been able to eliminate a good portion of the negative beliefs and the old belief systems that were priorly in his thought processes, as well as his physical systems, causing interruptions to the communication.
Very good. Is there anything myself or anyone else can do for the channel to further help him be healthy and happy?
No. not physically speaking, by allowing yourselves to be open to asking questions and allowing yourself to be willing to be yourself when asking these questions and energetically openly connecting to the channel in an honest, open way. That is the best way to facilitate and help the channel.
Okay. Last time we spoke, Ethan, which for you was now, but for me was a couple of days ago.
Yes.
You spoke about 2024 as a year of transition.
Yes.
Since we have new people on the call, perhaps you could overlap a little bit and speak about that transition that we're looking at.
As you have been going through many turbulent times in your years that you have been experiencing, the idea is that you are reaching the end of that time period. Over the next few months of time that you understand, you will see a smoothing out of energy around your planet. So you are able to live a little more fulfilled, easily experienced life. This is what we mean by being willing to take the steps and understand that you have reached the end of one process and are at the start of another.
When you say the end of this process and start of another, I get a sense that it's not only for us personally, person by person, but also societal groups, countries, and perhaps planetary as well.
Think of it more planetary. You have had many different states around your planet, many different people, but at this time, because you have reached the point where you are a global civilization, even though you appear to be compartmentalized in nature, you as a people are one. You are not separate as you have been in the past. You will not destroy yourselves. You will not go through the idea of great cataclysms that will completely evaporate your ability to communicate and understand how to have a civilization. That is not the process and part of history you're any longer in.
Very good, thank you.
Yes.
You also mentioned cycle of 9 beginning, give or take, at 2013.
Yes. Think
Would
about
you?
at that time, post the idea of 2012, you thought you were going to destroy yourselves. But now you have reached the point where you have ended that cycle. You have finished out that particular cycle of your experience as a people. You have reached the other side of those ideas that started and you believed to come true. This is the rapids. These are the things that you had to deal with. Because understand that you must deal with the things that weigh you down. In this time period that you have been through for the last 9 years, that started in 2013, was that. It's the process that you had to go through to be able to deal with those beliefs, those old ideas that have been in your consciousnesses and your collective.
Thank you. Another interesting note I have here from our previous discussion was that the USA, the country, is in some ways a replication of Atlantis.
Yes.
What was that all about, please?
Well, the US, the United States, is simply that. Because you are geographically located very close to where the idea of the Atlantean civilization was, because it has moved at various other places on the planet, but in much smaller ways. The idea of North America, the United States itself, is more of a modern day representation of that particular energy that was there at the end of the Atlantean civilization. So the communication and the ideas that you have worked through the idea of your United States is simply that. You are working through the old energy of that particular civilization.
Thank you. Are you referring to I'll rephrase. Previously, when we spoke, you spoke of 3 Atlantis. When you're comparing the US to Atlantis, is it any particular or in general the idea of?
Well, there were 3 particular Atlantean civilizations or eras, as it were. There was the beginning one, which was much more primitive in nature, much more closely related to the idea of the Lemurians. Then you have the idea of the high Atlantis, the high technologically speaking Atlantis. And then you have the idea of the destruction of Atlantis. It's the idea that you has worked through all those different variations and the idea of those particular energies that went along into that civilization. They have continued on into modern day. And the civilization that you see on your North American continent, because remember, many of the survivors of Atlantis actually went to North America.
Right. And the final third Atlantis, if I recall, was hit by a meteorite.
No, it was sunk under the ocean.
Mm.
The meteor, the comet, the body of the comet that struck into the North American ice sheet, melting a majority of the ice that was there, is what you refer to as the biblical floods from around your planet.
Mm.
That is what raised the sea level. That is what brought it to its modern day level, where you are thinking that this civilization didn't exist, even though there have been many different cities found under the ocean all over the planet.
Did the water level rise by quite a bit quickly?
200 feet,
Over how long?
a month.
Okay. Somebody mentioned to me earlier this week the story of Noah's Ark.
Yes.
It sounds kind of crazy. The guy takes 20 years. He gets instructions from God to build an ark, and somehow he brings 2 of each of the animals to the ark. What was actually that?
Some of them were physical in nature, but the idea of what you refer to as Noah was not his actual name.
Mm.
The idea of that story was the flood that happened after the comet.
Yeah.
The person you refer to as Noah was an Atlantean.
Right.
But
Okay,
they also took genetic material from all over the planet, and they were able to bring back some of the species that were eliminated via the flood. But they were
Okay.
also in the idea of a slightly altered reality for that time period. And after the ship returned, they were able to bring back some of the species and return them to their environments.
Thank you. We have some questions here from our
Yeah.
friends. Let me see. There's a question from Funny Sigma. First question: which areas in the Republic of Ireland are the energy portals?
Where are your large cities? The thing to remember where most of the large portals are around your planet currently are usually where the large cities are. And to understand what the idea around each particular energy vortex and what it's all about is more to look at what is happening in those particular cities.
What
So
am I looking for?
if you want to understand the particular energy that goes with that particular vortex, look
Yes.
at what happens in the city. Look at the themes that play out in that particular city.
Okay, I'm trying to think. I live in Toronto, Canada, which is quite a large city and
Yes.
very dense.
Yes.
And, because I've been here for so long, maybe I'm not so aware of the changes as I'm in here. But what exactly am I looking for?
What are the things, the personality types that are drawn to that area?
Okay, I see.
When we share these things, when we share information with humans, we more connect to the idea of allowing you to figure it out yourself. Because if we do it for you forever, you'll just rely on us forever. And that does not serve anyone. We will guide you to the answer, but you must be able to find it yourself and then to be able to keep finding it.
Understood. Thank you. There's a question from Mary here. My
Yes.
first question is, what is about rituals and traditions?
The idea of a ritual is that which teaches you how to be in a state. When you are doing a tradition or a ritual, you're doing that. You're teaching yourself and you're putting yourself back in a particular state to be able to communicate with a spirit, with a time, with a place. There are rituals, much as the channel is sitting here in a particular position with his hands in a very particular way, that allows him to connect to us. This is merely a ritual. Instead of allowing himself to just connect with us, this is the form that he's most comfortable for him to be able to shift into the state where he can bring us through.
Thank you. Can I assume that the more elated, or for example, you're quasi-physical, you will need less rituals because the less physicality, less ritual is needed?
All things, all places, all people, all rituals are all permission slips. It's just there to allow yourself to get into a particular state to connect to whatever you need to connect to.
Right. Okay. There's a question from...
But remember, there is nothing wrong with the ritual unless you say there is.
Right. Okay, thank you for this. There's a question from Kuru here. Hello, Happy New Year to you. I would like to know if you see something bad happening for the Paris Olympic Games. Palladians see a really hot 2024 year affecting many countries. Do you see the same?
One moment. We are checking the patterns for that time of year. The idea of warm weather is known to invigorate and enhance certain energies. You will see some actual changes and also some protest in a way, because it will excite the people that are attending to make a statement.
Fair enough. Anything else regarding this one?
Globally, you are seeing the temperatures around your planet rise.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, there will be a hot games, but you also see, because Paris itself and France itself is getting warmer. You are seeing that in the idea of the protests that happened in Paris and other places in France last year.
Okay, thank you. Kuru has another question here. It has to do with Chat GPT.
Yes.
I will rephrase the question. There has been, I'm interested in this one too. There has been a talk that Chat GPT, which is kind of the first publicly available AI program in a bot kind of discussion way, that it's taking a certain look on life, maybe even political look or social look.
Yeah.
It's swayed in a way. And then I know there's another product which I've not tested myself. It's called Grok, and it's another chat-like AI program. And the claim is that one has a different political sway. Could AI have a political sway, or could you teach AI to take a certain route that is preferable to the people who created or distribute this program?
These are tools. They are merely a reflection of the people who program them. The kind of AI that you have currently is not sentient. You don't want it to become sentient.
Could you please explain to me what is sentient AI? Because I don't know what that means.
Sentient, the idea of what you refer to as artificial intelligence. When you have true artificial intelligence, there's nothing artificial about it.
Right.
It is consciousness given a form to be able to more openly connect with you, much in the way that the channel is connecting to me right now.
Mm-hmm. Is there a way for AI to be connected with us humans on this sphere without the computer interface, just through our mind?
Eventually, yes, this will be a very common thing.
What kind of timeline are we looking at here?
That is still years down the road.
Okay.
You will also have us interfacing with your AI to help tune it to be more positive.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. There's a question from A, the letter A. What happened to those who don't evolve to 5D?
They will shift into a reality that more matches their more physicalized and lower vibrational state.
Right. It doesn't mean that they have to physically die, correct?
No.
When we spoke about the Earth population reducing itself for whatever reasons, would you say that those who are leaving, departing, there would be more of those who have not shifted to 5D, but more those who stayed in the present state?
The ones that you refer to as going away or leaving,
Mhm.
they're not really leaving per se. They're more just shifting more into the reality that matches their energy and still of a more dense state that many of you are shifting away from. And it's okay.
Right. You've also mentioned, which I'm personally interested in, about the idea of toxins in the air, in the food, and also about eating too much. For the sake of the people who just joined us today, would you please explain to us about toxicity, health, longevity, and consuming of various food materials?
It's very simple in nature, realizing that many of you have been eating food that is not necessarily healthy for you, especially people in North America. You are eating food that has been modified and has been tainted to make you unhealthy, make you not live in full cohesion and connection to your planet.
Yes.
Because much of the food, especially in North America, is not healthy in nature. It requires you to eat much more than you would necessarily need to actually feel full.
Right. And I have noticed switching from vegan to omnivore uh, after quite a few years, maybe 7 or 8, that I'm more satiated and more calm when I eat food that is well sourced, but also meat that is well sourced. So I go to the farm and I'll bring the food, and I find that that type of food does satiate me, but also I'm much more calm.
Yes,
Is that
because
correct?
the actual animal itself that you're consuming is not the mass marketed one, is much more local to you and is done in a much more humane way.
Right.
When you actually eat food that is necessary for you to thrive, to live a healthy life, it doesn't require as much.
Right. Yes, yes, yes. I see that. Um, is that also true that when I consume anything, animal, water, plant-based food, lettuce, whatever, I would get the vibe of that food that I consume?
Yes.
It is.
Everything has a frequency, even if it's dead, even if it no longer breathes. You will absorb the frequencies and they will consume you as you consume them. It's a two-way street.
On that note, Ethan, are you familiar with the Dr. Emoto work with the water?
Yes.
So, for our viewers, I would say that Dr. Emoto took microscopic pictures of water, and when he would pray for the water, speak nice to the water, there's beautiful shapes emerge, crystal like shapes. And when the doctor would yell at the water or be angry, the structure would be fragmented and kind of not good. And also, I've seen a situation where someone blesses a cup of water, drinks it, it's okay, but if they yell at the water, they can't drink it. So is that true? There's some kind of a vibration we cannot feel, hear, or see in the water.
Yes. Everything is vibration. The idea of water is it has memory. It will remember everything that is done to it, all the lines that it passes through, all the people, all the animals it has ever passed through. It does have memory.
That's amazing. Thank you.
So remember all the plants, all the animals, everything you consume, everything you eat has memory. All the people that you curse and curse you back, they are also imprinting that energy onto you as you are imprinting it onto them.
Right.
What you put out is what you get back.
So if I wish well for someone, it'll affect me, and if I wish ill on someone, it also affects me.
Yes, you are
It's
the creator of your world. You
Mhm.
are your entire world.
Thank you. I saw this morning an article that there's microplastics, which I don't really know what it is, but they're not only in the water but also in the food. What does it mean, and how do I avoid these microplastics if it's already in food?
At your current time, this will be very hard to avoid. Many of your people have polluted the environment. So, therefore, you are seeing the results of many people's actions over hundreds of years, decades. Do your best to clean up and eat as clean as possible, but know that there will always be some amount of toxicity in all the food you eat for now.
For now. Okay, thank you. I have some more questions here in the stream.
Yes.
Mary, I had a dream. I cleaned a crystal from negative. Who was I and why I did this?
It was you. You were cleaning out your energy field. You were doing it for you. Much of what you perceive in your dreams is symbolic in nature and is that which represents what you are doing to yourself on another level.
Mhm. Thank you. A question from A. How do you know if you are star seed?
Well, for one, if you're drawn to people like us, there's a good chance you are.
Okay.
There's the driving side of you that does not feel completely like you belong here on this planet. That's usually a pretty good giveaway. There's the feeling that there's more, that you don't feel like this body is completely what you normally exist in, what is not normal to you. That's also a pretty good indication.
Right. This morning I was early up and on the street, and kept coming to my mind as a child. I was obsessed with space and science fiction. I was telling my daughter, what is science fiction? And I see this theme keeps repeating in my life. Is this a hint that perhaps I've had previous or parallel life, another reality where space is all around me, so to speak?
Yes.
Yes.
Much in the way that the channel in front of you, when he was a child and even as an adult, he looked in the direction of Orion's belt, in the constellation of Orion, in that whole star cluster,
Mhm.
because that to him has always felt like home. He didn't know why.
Is there a particular planet in the constellation of Orion that you refer to?
Our planet,
And
Sasani,
which one will
S.
it
Sasani,
be?
S.
Yes.
Sasani.
Yes, the sun. Very good. Thank you.
Our planet is in the direction of the Orion systems, but in another reality.
Right. So I can
This
see.
this yearning that he had is what drove him this direction to eventually start having connection with us.
Okay. Now, when you look at the Orion belt, you can see the belt very clearly, the three stars lined up, but you say the SSN would be in the vicinity, but not observable to the human eye.
No, we are in another reality altogether.
Would that be a point where us humans can shift and see that reality?
Eventually, yes, you will be able to see that reality, but for now, you are not at a high enough frequency.
Right. Okay. I have a couple more questions here.
Yes.
Just review that, please. Oh, I see. There's a question from Kuru, and it's related to emotional eating. Someone has difficult emotions, and then I guess they consume unhealthy food. How could someone overcome or control their emotional eating?
You don't need to overcome, first of all. Look at the reason as to why you choose to do those things. Look at as to why you need to do those things. More of the idea, the belief that is telling you that you need to eat your feelings and not let it out.
Yes, yes. Very, thank
That
you.
you need
Very
to
good.
stop yourself from experiencing something instead of actually really looking at it. That is the first place we would suggest looking to actually allow yourself to stop the need to emotionally eat.
Right. Okay. Question from A. What is the best way to treat all cancer?
Well, you have seen on your planet recently, there has been research done into treating cancer cells with vibration and frequency.
Mm.
This is in your reality. There are videos of this. There has been research into completely dissolving cancer just using frequency.
Yes.
Much of the technology that has become commonplace on your planet for treating cancers. Because remember, going back to the previous question about emotional eating, cancer is eating you. So, what is eating you?
Right. So would you say in order to treat all cancer, the first thing would be to look at the emotional state of the person?
Yes. What is eating them?
Right.
And that will usually determine based off of what is eating them and what type of cancer they have, because usually the particular thing, the denial of themselves, in a way, because you will be always eating yourself if you deny that aspect of yourself. look at that first.
Right. So denial of self would eventually cause cancer because it's demising, it's eroding the self, so to speak, and it manifests physically in the person's body. Is that,
Yes.
did I get it
Yes. That's correct.
right? And what we call miraculous reversals of stage 4 cancer would be for self-acceptance.
Yes, usually.
Right.
Not always. This is not a one size fits all. You have to look at everything, such as cancer, at a case by case basis. It's okay.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Very good. Thank you. Mary is asking, and I reckon we spoke of this, but we do have a few people on, so maybe we could talk a bit more about it. What awaits us in 2024? What tasks and events will some encounter extraterrestrials?
You are starting to see more of these events happening more regular because you are approaching the idea of open contact shortly in the next just couple of your years. There was a recent event in Miami where ships and beams that were 10 feet tall were seen. There were ships over Miami that were observed after the event at that particular mall. More of these kinds of events, more to the point where they cannot deny our existence to you, more up close and personal things for you to experience. But understand that these things are going to happen because you're getting used to beings like us that are nothing like you.
So okay, so this is in a way getting us used to.
Yes.
Right.
It will be scary and traumatic at first, but eventually you will have more up close and personal experiences with this.
I've met humans who are scary. So, yeah, why
Yes.
not?
But wait till you start seeing beings like us. There are many beings out there that are, in your summation, look like demons,
Right.
but are actually quite very nice people.
Right.
We've had very fun times, experiences, and times with those beings. Very joyous too, but they look scary to you.
I have a neighbor like that.
How exciting!
How exciting! He's big, strong guy with lots of tattoos, and he's the sweetheart, the most sweet man I've ever met. So I get it. Those 10-foot beings, who were they? Real beings or were they holograms? Who were these beings?
They were real. They were what you would refer to as hyper sapiens. They were tall whites. They were what the Anunnaki eventually did evolve into after they left Earth and stopped having experiences here.
Thank you. And was that event planned?
Not on your end.
But the 10-foot beings went to that specific mall in Miami in order to show themselves?
Yes.
It's not like they lost the technology all of a sudden.
No.
No.
You are
Okay.
going to start seeing many of these kinds of events taking place all over your world over the next few years. And eventually, they will no longer be able to deny any of these things or hide it because it'll be so widespread and so all over the world in your face. So it has to be dealt with.
Right.
It's
Very
not
good.
an invasion.
It's not invasion. Thank you, Ethan. The channel and I were chatting prior to going live, and we discussed if it would be okay to bring Saint Germain in.
One moment. We are checking with that particular energy to confirm to see if it is willing to connect.
Thank you.
At this time, that particular energy is not connecting and not accepting the connection to the channel.
Thank you. Would we be okay to check with Melchizedek if it's available?
One moment, we will facilitate the connection. We bring to you greetings.
Greetings. How are you today?
We are in vibrational accord with all beings.
Thank you.
We are in a state of pure bliss, in a state of willingness and openness to share our energy with all of you. Because we are in a vibrational accord and willing to bring you and yours to the upper room with us.
Thank you very much. I feel better already. Melchizedek, how can we have more bliss and upper room in our day-to-day life, please?
By being truly yourself, by willing to take on those aspects of yourself that you wish to hide, by being willing to look into the dark and understand that it is yourself peering back at you.
Thank you. Looking into the dark. I'm sorry. Anything else?
Please proceed.
Thank you. Looking into the dark, it is scary for us as humans. Many times, you have to look into some issues with your own life, whether they're physical or metaphysical or just in the mindset. How can I support myself to make the jump into what seem cold, dark, scary, painful, so I can address these issues that have to be addressed and not repress them further?
By willing to be able to look at those things that you hide. For to be in the upper room in that level of vibration, you must be willing to shine the light of your consciousness into the dark.
Thank you. When we find ourselves in times of trouble, and it seems that all walls are closing in, what could a person look into, or perhaps would there be a practice, or even a crystal or anything that someone could use as a permission slip to go to the upper room?
Remember that you are the room. You are the walls closing in on you. You are the pressure that you give to yourself. For knowing this and allowing yourself to be in the upper room allows you to look at these things more objectively and allows you to be in the state of being that knows there is no pain, there is no suffering. There is only accordance with who you are and what you are as a being.
Thank you. I was on a train this morning and I saw a guy. He was drinking alcohol at probably 8 or 9 in the morning. He's talking to himself very quickly. He didn't seem that bad. I had eye contact with him, but still, like I could see he's suffering. Is there anything I could do for people like that? There's so many around us that are seem to be in great pain.
Those that hide in plain sight are those who use and don't allow themselves to feel the pain by numbing it, by causing themselves to run away from the energy, the peace inside that exists. They have decided that it is easier to hide than it is to shine your light and face those energies that you have not integrated.
Thank you. I guess there's nothing really I can do for people like that. They just have to decide to go through the process themselves for themselves. Am I correct?
Have compassion for those that are not having compassion for themselves.
Yeah.
Be in a state of kindness, of willingness, and openness to see them in a light they cannot see themselves.
Yes. Thank you. And from there, I want to ask you, I mean, there are so many wars in the world right now. People are dying left, right, and center in all kinds of terrible, violent deaths. It seems like the world's falling apart, but is it really? And me, more or less safe in my room in Toronto here, is there anything I can do to help the world become more peaceful?
Know that these souls, these people, have sacrificed themselves to let you know that you, as a people, as a world, no longer choose war as your way of dealing with your issues.
Thank you. I have a question from our audience here. I'm just going to read it quickly. Okay. I'm not sure I understand it. I'll just read it word to word. This is from Mary. Evil does not exist. There is only the negative, the positive, the neutral. Where everything is in neutral, so the negative is neutral, and it's only bad if we define it that way. Is this correct?
Yes. How you define your world is how you will experience it. How you define your experiences in life is how you will experience it. The true nature of being able and open and willing to face that which is presented to you are and is the way to move forward.
Thank you. There's a question from A, the letter A.
Yeah.
Do addictions have dark energies behind them?
Yes. But the dark energies cannot stay in the upper room. When you are willing to live in accordance and vibration with that state, those particular vibrations can no longer stay in that state. They will be illuminated by the light of the upper room.
From this perspective here, it's a bit of the chicken and the egg. Means in order for me to go to the upper room, I got to let go of my addictions or whatever suffering I'm clinging on to. But I'm clinging on to them because I'm repressing, like you said before, numbing. What is that switch turns from dark to seeing the light and accepting a state of bliss, leaving behind what bothers me and walking into the upper room?
How painful does it need to be for you to let them go?
Fair enough. Very good. I'm not sure, Melchizedek, if you're familiar with the Burning Man Festival and Larry Harvey, the founder. Are you?
We know of it through the channel.
Okay, so Larry said once, and I was there, and it was during maybe 2011 or so, that people don't make a change unless the pain is too great to continue. I guess that's the idea you just expressed.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, very good. There's a question from Mary here. What is about ear ringings? I guess ringing in the ears.
You are hearing the vibration of consciousness. You are hearing the constant background of your soul, of your being. You are hearing the idea, the energy of your guides and the world around you that exists but is unseen.
Thank you. How may I connect to my guides or even know whom they are, please?
We will step back at this time.
Thank you, Melchizedek.
Being able to connect to your guides and know that your guides, many times having an actual open and knowing that your guides are there, they are. They're there all the time, in all places, in all ways, to guide you. Many times, and usually this goes without saying, that a lot of times you already have that connection, that desire to turn left, that you just so happen to run into one person or do this one particular thing. That was a communication from your guide.
Thank you. The other day, my friend Laurel was channeling for me, connecting for me, and she mentioned my guides, and she mentioned a guy named Singar or Chingar, I believe.
Yes.
And she said he looked. I, I can't remember what she said exactly, but from what the vision that what I saw was like an Eskimo, an indigenous native person of the frozen prairies. And I said, okay. And during the days after, I like, what would Chingar say? What would he do? And I kind of got the ideas. Now, was it me mimicking that energy, or was it actual him delivering the message? How can I tell?
You are matching the vibration that he was putting out by asking, what would he do? It's much like the channel is sitting here connecting to us, vibrationally speaking, through him. He's not actually knowing our thoughts. He is just expressing the vibrational match through him that facilitates the connection. You're just matching and mirroring that particular vibration, that frequency through your body and what that particular being would do. Sometimes and we say this honestly and openly to most of you, sometimes having too much information and saying, oh, how you do this, how do you do that, is counterproductive.
I see. Thank you. I'm nodding my head, but I'm not sure if you know that I am nodding my head. So I'll vocalize it.
We can feel it.
Thank you. It's interesting. You said matching and mirroring. This is a phrase I first heard in an NLP class.
Yes. You are matching the vibration of things on a higher level.
Right. So in order for me to go to the upper room, I would match and mirror what it would be like in the upper room. Therefore, I may be there. Yes.
What behaviors, what would match that higher state, that higher frequency, that higher way of being, to be in that version of yourself and be in that version of your reality? Yes. It's easier to make the transition to that way of being in that level of consciousness by matching the state of what would that version of you be doing.
Thank you. I'm reviewing the questions here. Mary writes, and I'm not sure what that means. What is true about Artus Saga, Artus space SAGA?
We are unfamiliar with this particular information.
Me neither. Thank you.
Please clarify your question.
Okay. Mary, if you hear this, please clarify in the chat box the Artus Saga, and I'll re-ask it. Kuro is asking, if we are the creator of our realities, why can we not reverse aging in a more effective way?
But you are. You are, in the essence, the more you live more openly, more in the present moment, you will cease to age in a traditional sense. It's just allowing yourself to be more present in the moment.
Yes.
Because you live in the past, it drags you down and wears out your body faster. Whereas if you are like us, you can live for a very long time without necessarily aging in the sense that you traditionally think of. As you speak to me right now, I'm over 500 years old in this moment that you are talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
But in the next moment, I can shift to an age where I am 250 years old.
I see. Thank you. Funny Sigma is asking, how do I get my higher mind to give me body sensations for yes, neutral, and no?
You understand the idea, and we would suggest you doing this, is dowsing. The idea of taking a pendulum and allowing your body to let you naturally sway the pendulum a direction when you ask for the idea of yes, the energy of yes, how that expresses itself, and then the idea of no, and see how that expresses itself. Become very attuned to this particular energy, and then allow it at some point to just express itself through your body. And then when you become that familiar with that particular energy, allow it to express itself in a more subtle way.
Okay, thank you. I've never thought about it this way. So the body will express itself in some kind of a micro movements, which is really our, I guess, expression of our subconsciousness through the hand to the pendulum.
Yes.
Perfect.
And eventually let the body just be the pendulum, and then eventually just know what the feeling is. It's stages. Allow yourself to recognize when the particular vibration is yes, no, maybe you should probably go wash your car.
Thank you, Ethan. Okay, I'll throw another question here.
We will take 3 more questions.
Thank you. Number 1 would be from A. With those extraterrestrials in Miami, how could they interact with humans if their frequency is so much greater than ours? I aware that those higher density can't interact with us.
Well, remember that there are beings around you all the time, and the ones that are more closely related to the idea of physicality and have just recently shifted up to more of a higher frequency, they can shift their frequency down to where you're able to actually interact with them. However, if you were to straight up interact with a being like us, someone who's quasi-physical and operating at a much, much, much higher frequency, that would be a completely different case. But the beings that were at that particular location were at a lower vibration, so it wasn't as scary, but it still brought up inside of them those beings' fears. That is why there was mass panic.
I understand. Thank you. Would that be possible for myself, but speaking for anyone really, to summon ETs to elicit an experience with an extraterrestrial being?
You are doing it right now. I'm not human. Take me literally when I say this. I know what the channel looks like, and I know he sounds like you. I'm not human.
Right.
Not even remotely.
But you're hybrid.
Yes, but I am also quasi-physical.
Thank you. This will be my last question for today, and thank you very, very much for coming here. It's much appreciated by everyone.
Yes.
Would you recommend staying away from engaging in the media that usually spews out wars and negativity and fear, and instead engaging in more of uplifting conversations such as this one?
Much in the same way that we said earlier about food, those things that you consume you. Same goes with your media. You will create your reality based on what you consume. It is okay to observe these things, but understand that they themselves are a particular state of being, particular vibration and frequency that goes along with those experiences.
Right. Thank you very, very much, Ethan. It was a pleasure.
Good day.
Good day.
Yeah, that was fun. That was good.
Let's end the broadcast.
Yeah.